Hello, guys. Things have been a little off the past few weeks. I was vacationing with my family out in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, so I didn't. I was kind of busy on Sunday, so I wasn't able to get the Sunday videos up. But this week, I'm doing a review on on La Bamba right now. Excuse me. And then this Thursday, I will be doing a cover of Pat Benatar's "Love Is a Battlefield." This Sunday, I will do my next sports story, and next week, I will pay tribute to Chester Bennington's death with what I've done by Lincoln Park. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about La Bamba. Now, La Bamba is hitting its 30th anniversary this year, and its title is taken from the signature song of the Hispanic rock and roll star Richie Valens from the 1950s. And I'm not going to give away the ending about what happens to the movie. I am not going to go into that. What I will say is that if you haven't seen the movie yet, go see it. It's a great film, and I'm going to tell you why. So, at the heart of this movie is the relationships between Richie and his family and friends towards his rise to fame, most notably with his half-brother Bob and his girlfriend Donna. Now, I'm going to talk about the brother-to-brother relationship because Richie and Bob are half-brothers, and the one thing about that is, see, this throughout the story as Richie is getting more and more fame and more success, Bob, who's a womanizing alcoholic, is constantly getting, shoved off to the side and is getting increasingly angry at Richie for having the success he's been having. And there are a lot of great dramatic scenes where Richie and Bob clash and bond. So it's a very complex relationship, and it's very organic. You understand why Bob is angry. You understand that he's trying to get his life on track, but then every time something happens that's good, he fails to see the progress and self-destructs and goes right back to square one and being a drunk idiot. And but at the same time, Richie is still there for Bob, and they both stick together, and it just feels like a genuine relationship. And the fact that they love each other while also wanting to punch each other in the face, it's just great drama, And Richie's relationship with Donna in this movie also happens very naturally. He falls in love at first sight. They go on a few dates, but Donna's father is against her dating a Hispanic guy who also plays rock music. So, again, it's not played like a romantic comedy where there's some misunderstanding. It just seems like how that would play out in real life. And one of the main things that I really do like about this movie, aside from the relationships, is that even though Richie is constantly getting fame and fortune throughout the movie once he moves into his new home and starts playing live music in front of everybody, he doesn't become jaded. And it has been reported from Lou Diamond Phillips, who plays Richie in the movie, and the real Donna years and years later, the fame never twisted Richie. He was still the same humble, wide-eyed boy that he was when he started. So I definitely think that gives the movie a very unique touch and some realism points. And I tried doing some research for this movie to see how much of it was real and how much of it was made up Hollywood magic. And I really couldn't find much. The way Richie comes up with the idea for doing a rock and roll version of La Bamba, in the movie, he's out partying and getting drunk with Bob, and he comes across the song before he gets wasted. In real life, it was actually a family trip during the day at Tijuana. It was still the same location in the movie, but very different context. So that's like the only real thing I could think of that really messed up the story. And another thing I can think of is that Richie was always playing guitar at school. You don't really see that. And Bob Kuhn, the record producer that signs Richie to the contract, in the film it just seems like he kind of came there by accident, but in real life he was actually given a tip from someone to go check out this Richie Valens kid, or Ricardo Valenzuela. Richie Valens is the guy's stage name. So I think with that said, with the characters, what's also really good about this movie is that Los Lobos, the people who re-recorded and did their own covers of the music and even dubbed over Phillips when it came to the singing scenes, I think the music is really, really good. You know, it doesn't feel like the band is doing their own versions of the song. It feels like they're just playing the music exactly the way it was written way back when Richie was creating this music. And there's a lot of highlights on this song. The La Bamba is great, as you would expect. Come On, Let's Go. Oh My Head. Donna. We Belong Together. Those are highlights of the movies. And the soundtrack is really takes you back to the 50s, or at least it makes you feel like you're in the 50s if you weren't around back then like I was. I was born in 94. So I really can't think of anything to say that would mean this movie is bad or any flaws. I think it's one of those films that, much like Eddie and the Cruisers, is not well known, but it's still